And we're live. Hey, what's up guys? Matt here, aka HFX Drifter on pretty much every social media platform. Well, just Instagram and YouTube. Those are really the only two I use. But this is a weekly segment on my channel where I try and get out once a week to keep creative and try new ideas. But this is week 5 of the photo challenge, and this week's concept was levitation. So much like the other 4 challenges, my weeks tend to get away from me, and I'm usually left day of trying to figure out an idea for the shoot. Well, it's Thursday, and once again, I don't have an idea. This is where the stress sets in. I was really hoping that this week was gonna be a bit different, a little less last minute, a little more planned, a little bit better, but here we are. But if you are seeing this, it means I did come up with an idea, and this is what it'll look like. Let's go. Can we get coffees? We can get coffees.
Nope. How does this look? I feel like they look so awkward.
Are you good staying like this for a couple more minutes? Yeah. Pretty dark, but I mean, shooting down here, there's just not enough light. All right, man.
Good seeing you.
Thank you for the help.
Good seeing you guys. Catch you on the next one.
100%. Have a good day, man.
See you, bro.
Later. So the location for the shoot was actually a parking garage right on the waterfront, just down the road from my house. And right around sunset, the light just pours directly through this alleyway right under the parking garage and just gives this beautiful golden hue and these light beams coming through, and it casts these crazy shadows with the columns. It's just like a really cool, raw, industrial, underground vibe. And I thought it would pair perfectly with this photo concept. So once we got on location, it was just a matter of finding the right angle in which to have Brad laying on the stool and me snapping some photos. I wanted to find an area where it was lit enough to the point where I didn't have to push my ISO too high and degrade the quality of the image, but also a spot that had a decent amount of contrast. So what I ended up doing was actually backlighting Brad on the stool, shooting down lengthwise of the parking garage right through the entrance, and we ended up with a pretty cool vibe. Now, I've done levitation style images quite a bit on my Instagram, so I really wanted to kick this one up a notch. Basically, the concept for this shoot was marrying that levitation style image with a stereoscopic image or a 3D image. So what I really wanted to do was take several images of Brad in the same position on slightly different angles, overlay them in Photoshop, and export it as a GIF. So we'd essentially have like a small rotating image around Brad levitating. So typically stereoscopic images are made up of 3 to 4 stills. I opted for 24, downsized to 12 just to increase the movement between stills, and ended up sticking with 12 images. So a little bit more than your typical stereoscopic image, but the end result was pretty stellar. So first things first, uploaded the images to Lightroom, added one of my presets, did a bit of tweaking, then ported them over to Photoshop to do the layering. Once in Photoshop, I had the tedious process of erasing 12 stools from these 12 images. So basically how I broke down my workflow for this is I took the first image, I erased the stool, I went to the second image, I erased the stool, then I brought the second image, overlaid it onto the first image, lined up the shoes and the head, and then I just carried on for the next 11 photos. Now, I forgot to record this portion in the original tutorial, so I'm gonna quickly run you through how to take these 12 layered images and turn them into a GIF. So for the sake of this tutorial, I just ported in the 12 original images with the stools still intact. So once you have all 12 layers, you're gonna go to your window menu and select Timeline. That's gonna open up this window at the bottom of your Photoshop workspace. You're then gonna click Create Video Timeline. Once you do that, you're gonna come down to the bottom left to these 3 squares, and you're gonna select Convert to Frame Animation. So we're gonna set the time to no delay because I'm dealing with 12 frames here, so I want the GIF to move relatively fast. After I select this first initial frame, I'm gonna come down to my 12 layers, and I'm going to make the first layer the only visible layer for this first frame of the GIF. Then I'm going to duplicate this layer, and as you can see now, they're both the exact same layer. So I'm gonna select the second frame in the sequence, and I'm going to toggle on the visibility of the second layer of my group. So now you have the first and second frame of your GIF. After this, I'm just going to continue the process until I get a frame for all 12 layers. Once you get the frames done for all 12 layers, you can run through your GIF, and as you see, it's pretty jolty towards the end. That's because we actually have to go through and do a secondary frame in reverse order to complete the GIF. Now keep in mind when you're coming back down the group, you do not want to create a second frame from your first layer, because when your GIF runs through each individual frame, it's going to reset to the first frame, which is your base layer. So you only need one of your first layers. After this is done, we can run through the GIF one more time and you have a continuous loop. Now keep in mind, this doesn't look incredibly smooth because I didn't actually take the time to line up these individual frames for the sake of this tutorial. Now that we're done, we can come up to File, Export, Export As, and make sure your format selected is GIF. Now keep in mind, when we export the GIF, Instagram itself can't play a GIF. So what we have to do is go online to a GIF to MP4 converter, import your file, download the MP4 format, and then you're good to go. All right, team, that does it. That's it for Photo Challenge Week 5. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you don't miss any future videos or tutorials. Embrace your weird, stay creative, and I'll see you next week.